Hi, everyone. Welcome to Beacons of Balance. If it's the first time here, what Beacons of Balance is, first of all, we live in this world of duality, which is up, down, black, white, left, right. It's always going to be that way. And we need to live our life this way in balance, okay? Right now, the world, we're like this. So we want to bring everybody here. We all want to be here. So we're going to share with you different topics. We have different guest speakers that come in. It's about you, to empower yourself, to see your light and raise it and see it in everybody. I want to welcome you. I want to welcome my wonderful co-host, Joanne is with us.
Hello.
And
thank you, Arlene, my beautiful co-host.
And we have our wonderful guest speaker, oh my God, Dr. Adele Ryan McDowell. So we're going to go right into it. Dr. Adele Ryan McDowell is a psychotherapist with more than 30 years experience, a teacher of meditation, intuitive development, psychospiritual issues, an international workshop presenter, and shamanic energy healer. Adele's work focuses on helping clients find hope and balance in the face of crises, trauma, and grief. She has worked with suicide, domestic violence, and sexual assault in the crisis hotline. She's worked with survivors of Hurricane Katrina, 9/11, the Joplin tornado, the Newtown shooting, clients struggling with addiction, as well as those moving through profound life changes such as grief and health challenges. Adele's work integrates psychology with big picture spirituality to help clients move through crises, restore balance. Here we go, balance, by assessing core soul issues and to discover and find comfort in their authentic selves. Plus, on top of that, of course, that wasn't enough. In between, she's published several books. And look at her. She's only 20 years old. I mean, oh my God, I don't know how she does it, but man, she's keyed into something.
Not the good gene.
I think today we're going, Adele wants to speak about how to stay sane in an upside down world. I don't know, folks. Do you think we're upside down? I mean, I mean, personally, and this coming year, I mean, I only want to go to podcast, but it's going to be, I think, a crazy, crazy year. So without further ado, I want my wonderful co-host, Joanne, you could kick it off. Let's kick it off and start with the question.
Oh, I'm so excited, Arlene. Can you feel the energy in this room? It's like, wow.
She brings all kind of energy.
I know. It's like, I just feel the all kind of.
Don't you have like feathers going in? She gives me feathers inside me. I just start giggling.
Oh my God. That's good. That's good. Adele, I am blown away. I've been reading some of your books and some of your excerpts, and I'm a quote girl. I love quotes. And the one thing I noticed is you've got some pretty cool quotes. Can you explain your common practice for calming the nervous system? First of all,
there's so much out about cortisol these days, our cortisol levels and how we're responding to stress. And there's so many different things that we can do. I'm going to tell you a couple. One of in psychoneuroimmunology, which mind, body, spirit, basically, one of the easiest things you can do actually is smile, because when you smile, you regulate things.
Right.
But one of the other things you can do is if you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my God, I have so much to do and I can't handle this or that phone call, and can you believe what the kids did or whatever, sing or hum. Sing or hum. It will help you. And from a Chinese perspective, there's a thing where, and I often do this, when you're brushing your teeth in the bathroom, you raise your heels and drop them, raise your heels and drop them. That will also help. That they're just little things that you can do. They're easy enough to do, but they just help when you feel a little more empowered, right? I mean, of course, breathing always helps. How we think always helps. Taking time for ourselves always helps. Radical self-care has got to be the name of the game, or we're not going to make it through. We're not going to make it through if we don't honor ourselves, because we raised our soul hand to be here now. And by that, there's no mistake that any of us are here now going through the craziness of the world, the divisiveness and all of that. I do have a client who says to me, well, if that's my soul contract, next time I wish I read the fine print, because I'm not so thrilled with this. But everything, it's not like it's all predetermined, But somewhere along the line, we're all part of this bubbling matrix of light, and we kind of bump into each other. But we're supposed to be here now during this very crazy world time. It is a crazy world time. They'll name this time of something in history, right?
Right.
And being here and showing who we are. It's hard to stay in the light. It's hard to be pleasant when somebody's snarky. And people are so quick to be snarky and mean, right? So quick. And why are they snarky and mean? Most likely they're wounded and traumatized and don't feel things are fair, or they're suffering. Right. I mean, I don't think people, some people, I guess, are mean-spirited, but it's hard. And then sometimes if we're a jerk, when we say something that's jerky, then we feel badly. We have to go back and say, look, I'm sorry, I was a jerk. I have a funny meme that is a decorated cake, and it says, I'm sorry I said what I said when it was 116 degrees outside.
Oh, that's good. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I think people are so hard on themselves now, too. And you had a great quote in one of your books, and it said, forgive yourself for what could have been, what should have been. So spot on.
Yeah, I mean, it's because if we don't have compassion for ourselves, right? How are we going to have it for other people?
Exactly.
All the judging, right, left, red, blue, green, white, whatever we're doing, we forget about the compassion, right? It's like, have you seen those things online where the guy's he's running the marathon, and here he goes, he's almost there, but he's from another country and cannot interpret the signage properly, and he falters, and the guy behind him, who's close on his heels, pushes him first. And they said, why did you do that? And he said, well, because, right? It's those things. It's like the little boy who got upset about animals and started a fundraiser with lemonade in his front yard and ended up making something like $6,000 for the local shelter. A little boy, right? Or the other kid who designed something. These kids today, oh my gosh. I had the opportunity to go be at a school for kids that would be considered on the spectrum, right? And I wrote a thank you note to the head of the school, and I said, meeting these kids, they're going to be the future. And you know why I think that? One, they see patterns the rest of us don't see.
Right.
Right? Two, their energy vibration, I think they all came in and they're a notch up. They got a notch up over it. And they're going to change the world. And everybody gets so upset about this, that, and the other. We got lost to one here, folks. We're not all awake.
Yeah, I was just telling Arlene how these kids, this is the new wave coming in. We're paving the way for them.
So, yeah, and
amazing.
There was a teacher in the room there had been a death in the school, and there was a teacher in this room. And she was young and bubbly and what have you. And there were 3 boys, 18, 16, and 10, right? Now, the school is very small. Parents are clearly well-heeled to be able to afford this kind of education for their kids. And all 3 of them said they'd been bullied. All 3 of them had been adopted. The 18-year-old had been in 6 boarding schools. And they also told me that they were the 3 best friends and the 3 class clowns, the school clowns, right? Now, when you met them, you wouldn't have thought they were so hilarious, but but the teacher later said to me, I can't believe that all 3 of these kids were in a room. That doesn't happen. It's usually one-on-one. And I don't know how it happened, maybe safety in numbers. But we all laughed and we had a good time, and we were able to talk about what we needed to talk about. And these kids, the way they saw life, they touched my heart. They changed my life. I mean, just that small meeting, because they saw the world in such a different way.
Yeah. I loved it. The old souls.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to meld it together. It's a time of, as we all know, it's been male dominated. Females are coming up now. There's a lot of Mary Magdalene movement, but there's a lot of angry women. I said, no, this is a time we have to come together and join together. And I think as elders, we're the older generation, we have to come together with the youth instead of dumping on them, saying, oh, they're just on their devices or whatever.
No, because they have a different way of seeing things. We may not get it. And I also think, though, I want to speak to the anger. I think sometimes women need to feel the anger because they haven't felt it. They haven't acknowledged. They haven't felt they were worthy enough. I'm not talking taking a machete to people. I'm talking using that anger as a spark to go and make change, as a spark for activism, a spark that says, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. This isn't right. This isn't fair. This isn't equitable. Right? I think anger can teach it. Anger says, hey, something's wrong. Something's out of balance. Right?
It can motivate.
Everybody's welcome at the table. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What could you talk about on right now? Because everybody's in this place, and I think we just can't throw the word out there and just get rid of it, about overcoming fear. And of course, my definition has always been false evidence appearing real, you know, but where people are paralyzed in fear.
Well, first of all, let's I'm laughing. No wonder I can't hear you. I don't have my headset plugged in. Hello, I'm a smart woman. Hold please, operator error. Let's see if I can find it. I had to change devices today. So, well, maybe I can't find it. Well, so far we're doing okay. All right, so we'll go back to fear. That's hilarious.
Yeah, plug in the computer?
Well, the computer wouldn't work, so now we're on the iPad, and I was plugged into the computer, and just hold, please. Let's just see if I can find it. Let's see.
Can you hear it again? Can you hear it?
Oh my God, it's amazing. I can hear. Thank you.
Adele, your orbs just got bigger behind you.
Oh, well, good. Hi, orbs. No. Okay, so fear. Okay, fear. We've all got it. It's a human thing. But evolutionary wise, we talk about survival of the fittest. Well, there is a theory in terms of survival of the fittest that the people who had the most anxiety, in other words, they could read the clues, this is going to happen, right? They're the ones who survive. So I always say to my clients who have some major league anxiety, it's a survival mechanism that something's not right. But you have to be able to contain it and look at it as such, as opposed to, oh my God, I can't leave my house. I can't go to the grocery store. I'm panicked for whatever. Everybody's a bad guy. If it colors you that way, that you are so just impacted by fear, and the fear could even lead to a little paranoia or a little one-sided thinking, it's not helpful, right? So how do we do this? We have to feel, again, it goes back to self. Are we, I don't mean strong like I'm weightlifting. I mean, okay, can I anchor myself? Do I believe in myself? Can I trust myself? Right. Do I understand that people that I like or whatever, I may agree with the 87.5% of the things they say, but there could be another 12.5%. I'm like, not so much, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be 100%. There's some wisdom there in being grounded in yourself. And if everybody who's listening to this, I would assume is on the spiritual path, however you define it. We believe that we are connected. We have the ability to connect to something more, right? And having that also, when you can feel, have you ever had a moment where there was Joanne, you'll love this. There was a quote at some point in time about, I'm resting in the unseen arms of God. And for some reason at that time in my life, that was very helpful, right? Nope. So here, one could argue that the opposite of fear is faith, right? Faith in yourself, faith it's going to work out, faith in something bigger or whatever else. Most people, see, this is complicated. It's not an easy answer because I know so many different examples. People who have had trauma in their life, they can watch something on the news and I don't care how much education they have, they could be a medical professional. And I'm thinking of one that I know right now who is a medical professional, but certain things happen in the world, given that the real life torture she experienced in her youth, that triggers her. Right. So and now trauma is the new word, and everybody's, how do we deal with trauma? We deal with trauma by processing it, right? But people don't want to process it. It's too scary. I don't want to get near it, or I'm not ready. But trauma lives in the body. Fear lives in the body and also in the brain, right? You can't do things. So if I'm fearful, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit down first. I've got to breathe, because if I'm afraid, I'm not breathing, right? So I've got to breathe, and I've got to breathe deeply, and I've got to do a bunch of deep in and out breaths and just say, okay, calm down, Adele, calm down. What's going on here, right? So I'm going to breathe. And then after I breathe, right, and I get centered in myself and I feel grounded, right? Because we have to be in our body. If we're not anchored in our body, what are we going to do? We're going to fall over. Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie. I can't stand up straight. Whoopsie, because I'm not grounded, right? So we have to, it's simple stuff, but we have to be grounded. And then we look at the fear and then we go, okay, are we going to evaluate? What do we got here? Is this, years ago, I had a kid call me. She was hysterical. She's now close to 50. And she has this darling young boy. But when she was in high school, she would call me and go, oh my God, I'm going to flunk my test. And I'm like, is this a rational fear or irrational fear? She goes, what do you mean? I said, did you study? She goes, no. Okay, rational fear. Okay. I want you to put down, I said, I want you to put down the phone. And I want you to tell your mother that you're doing this because I suggested, so she doesn't freak out. And I want you to do like this, and I want you to scream as loud as you can for about 5 minutes. Go. And I can hear her. I mean, she put the phone down, but I can hear her. Whoa. She comes back. Now she's laughing. She's like, you're a nut. I'm like, yeah, but okay, how do you feel? So, because sometimes you've just got to get that heaviness out and look at it. Irrational fear, right? I'm afraid that the pod people are going to come and take all my, we don't have any evidence of pod people come and taking people away at this moment in time, right? Irrational fear is, I have a family member going to the hospital. I don't want to get sick. I'm going to wear a mask, right? Whatever. So you look at it as irrational, is it rational? You get in your body, you ground. And then you think, how am I going to deal with this? There's certain things in the world, like if we were living in the Ukraine right now, right, we would be on high alert on Israel or in Palestine, the Gaza. I mean, we would be in high alert nonstop, because what they're going through is war times, and it's terrifying. And I'm sure everybody's cortisol levels are through the roof. And sometimes you're thinking he had very, very crisp in bad situations like that, but it's been ongoing. They've got to be exhausted, right? And in all these places, or if the hurricane's coming, the tsunami's coming, how do I prepare? And then what do you do with that fear? I have an expression, and some people go, oh God, is that all you got? Yeah, this is what I got, kids. It's called kiss it to God, right? Kiss it to God. When you can't do anything about it, right? I've taken care of me. I've done whatever preps I've had to do. I'm now going to kiss it to God. We're kissing it to God, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And sometimes you'll find out that there is a miracle. So let me take you to Chicago and a story I heard from Carolyn Mace in the early 1990s. And they have an expressway there. Is that where you live, Joanne? Are you in Chicago?
I'm in a suburb of about 34 miles.
Oh, you're in Naperville or someplace like that, right?
Probably was at that conference, because I've heard her in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, she's not at a conference. This is the story of the Kennedy Expressway.
Oh.
And it's rush hour. There's an accident. And there's a woman who sees the accident in the car, and she starts praying madly, praying madly, praying madly, praying madly. The woman who was badly injured in the accident, her spirit saw this woman, and whether she got the license plate of the car of this woman, that part remains a mystery to me. I don't know the answer to that. But many months later, the woman who was in the car accident, with a bouquet of flowers, goes and knocks on the door of the woman who prayed for her.
Oh, wow.
And says, thank you for praying for me. It made a difference.
Wow.
Right? Now, people might say, oh, a little fanciful or whatever. I happen to believe that because I know those things can happen. And the between the veil, right? And so we have the power of prayer. We have the power of presence, be in the present moment. If we're too busy thinking about, oh my God, this could possibly happen and it's not happening, we're wasting our energy. If a mom's kid gets run over, right, and she's there and she lifts the car and people go, how in God's name did you do that? Because she had 100% of her energy, right? She could lift the car. If we don't have all of our energy, we're not terribly effective. Exactly. And how do we have all of our energy? We have to have dealt with the past stuff, and we have to be in present time and attending. Right. Now, I do have a little Carolyn May story if you want to humor me. Do you want to humor me? Okay. All right. So this is Carolyn knew this gentleman, David Chetlahay Paladin, born in Arizona. And he and his cousin used to leave the reservation a lot, thinking it was better than White Man's World. And constabulary would pick up the boys and bring them back to the reservation. Now, David would laughingly say, and I got the story from Carolyn Mason. I also talked to his wife, Linda Paladin, who does great work on her own. Anyway, David said his mother was a nun and his father was a priest. His mother later left the reservation and became a nursing nun, and the father was a visiting priest on the reservation, Chetlahay. Okay, so he and his cousin eventually make their way from Arizona to California. They lie, whatever, they work, they get there, and they get a job with the Merchant Marine, and they say they're much older than they are. And so they're on this ship. Chetlahay gets friendly with a kid from Germany, and they're all traveling the world and doing this. And he later becomes an artist. He's sketching the atolls that the Japanese are building sites on in the Pacific. So World War II is declared, and they find out that David has lied, and they say to him, two choices. You can go to jail for a year, you can enlist in the Army. I enlist. Right? He enlists in the Army, and then they realize that he's a Navajo. And they say, oh, remember the code crackers? We're gonna drop you behind enemy lines, right? And you can connect with somebody else who speaks Navajo, right? And, get information. So he was captured and he was tortured, and they said, oh, there's nothing else we can get from him. Let's send him to a different camp. Now, we've all seen the movies where the German soldiers with the rifles, schnell, hurry, and onto the boxcars. Right. Well, he was one of those people there, and he turned around to look at the guy going schnell, and it was his friend when he was on the Merchant Marine boat. And his friend looks at him and recognizes him and puts him on a different boxcar. And this one's to the Dachau. And he goes to the Dachau, and he's there, and he's in the kind of barracks. There's a guard there. And the gentleman drops something. And the guard says, oh, sorry. A gentleman drops something. David Chetlahay Paladin picks it up, and the guard looks at him and goes, who do you think you are, Jesus Christ? And he orders a hammer and nails. He then hammers his feet to the ground and has him keep his arms outstretched. And every time he would wilt, right? Oh, I just put my finger in my eyes too. That was good. Every time he would wilt, they'd prop him up. And in the middle of the night, somebody had maggot-covered raw chicken and they were shoving it in his mouth. So this happened for 3 days. Then they undid him. When the Allies opened up this camp, they found him in a heap of semi-living, some dead human beings. He weighed about 70 pounds. But when they found him, he was speaking Russian. So they gave him to the Russians. But then he started speaking English and said who he was. And they sent him to a VA hospital in Battle Creek, Michigan. He was in a coma for a couple of years. And then he's out of the coma, and he says, May I go, because he's 21, this is his life. May I go visit my family over there? They said, of course you can. So he literally drags himself onto the reservation, and he meets with the elders, and they say, okay, Chetlahay, tomorrow, Little Colorado River, 3:00, meet us there. And he goes, okay. So the next day, 3:00, he trudges there. They take the braces, like I imagine, like polio braces, off of his legs. They tether a rope around his waist. They lift him and they toss him into the Little Colorado River. And they say to him, Chetlahay, call back your spirit or die. Call back your spirit or die. And that for all of us is, if we are carrying all this stuff. Well, my Aunt Teresa told me when I was 4 years old, and this one did this, and that one did this, or I did this, or I did that. We're human. We're all doing the best we can. We fumble. Some days we're good. Some days we're not so good. Some days, oh, we should stay in bed. But we're trying our best, right?
Sure.
Well, we want to try our best. And so the idea is to call back, not carry all the weight of the old, of the whatever. Clear it out. Do the work on it. Journal, whatever. And be 100%. Call back your scared or die, because that's how we heal. For Chet Lahey, he said that experience was the hardest he'd ever been through. He was swimming for his life, but he realized that the raw chicken was a guy trying to save his life, right? He realized so many things. If memory serves me, just side comment, I think he was involved in something with was it the Nuremberg trials? I think he helped with that too. He later went on, and he worked with a lot of alcoholics. He had a big problem in that area. So he worked with a lot of alcoholics and alcoholic priests and nuns. Kel Surprise, given his background. And the reason he spoke Russian is that he was channeling the Russian artist Kandinsky. And at one point, Kandinsky's best friend came over here and spent time with David Chet Lahey Paladin, and the press are all there going, well, do you think it? He said, I feel like I spent the day with my best friend.
Wow.
And I love this story because I think it applies to all of us, right? Calling back everything, call it all back, and don't, and whatever we have. And yes, I want everybody to feel their stuff, because as my clients would often say in group, I'm going, and what's the answer, guys? You have to feel to heal. Yes, we have to feel to heal. Hey, we were born. We're the only planet, to my understanding, that has this capability to feel. We're the grand experiment, right? So, woohoo, let's feel it.
Adele, what a story.
Isn't that fabulous?
Oh, my God.
I was waving. I was getting.
I got God bumps on that one.
I got all the way through, all the way. We needed it for our hearts. Everybody that's hearing this, if their heart wasn't touched, then you're a stone.
Right.
But call back your spirit of your stone.
No.
Don't give up. That's the main, and Adele, there was another quote you had in your book. Persistence is the antidote to powerlessness.
Yeah.
We forget how powerful we are.
We do.
You can't just practice it one day and forget. You've got to be persistent. You've got to keep going.
Right. And it's just being awake and alive and doing the best you can do every day. I mean, I love, isn't it Don Miguel Ruiz in the Four Agreements? It's like you do your best every day, but the understanding is that our best varies. One day it might be, oh my God, I got a headache, or oh my God, I'm still processing this, or oh, I'm so freaking tired, or it's hot, or it's cold, or it's whatever. But we try the best, right? And if we find ourselves in one of the places, then sometimes we just zip it and we don't say much until we work through it. And then you go put on some good music. I've done a lot of work with people with trauma, and that, and I'm like, all right, when you go home, if it's possible, this is what I would like you to do. I want you to go home and put on your favorite music, and I want you to dance or sing around the living room to your favorite music. Because
get that energy moving.
Exactly. It changes the energy, and don't you know you're in a car and you're playing a song and you're bumping and you're singing? Yeah, you're like, yay! I mean, you put Mustang Sally on. I'm a happy camper. You put Aretha on. I'm singing with her. Yeah, I mean,
Aretha, baby.
Yeah,
it's interesting what you said about the feeling, because I know Greg Braden. I mean, he traveled to Tibet with the high monks, and he asked them, the ones that sit there like for hours, right? Hours. He said, what are you actually doing? He asked those questions.
Oh, those are good questions.
They said they're feeling they're feeling the words. And that came to me because, of course, I'm a recovered Catholic. So we were taught, saying the rosary over and over again, saying the Our Father.
Right.
I feel like you're reciting this stuff, right, by rote. But when I finally came to terms with it late in life, and I dropped from here to here, and I just talked from my heart. Oh my God, it changed.
Yeah,
like
it does.
This, it changed.
And I often just tell myself, okay, I'm not. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. I make it up, and I'm like, just be yourself. Just be honest. Just be real. Just be whatever it is, because That's how we connect with one another, right? It's the feelings. We can have great ideas. Oh, it's good to debate these thoughts and whatever. But the real connections and that sense of connection, emotional intimacy, whatever comes from sharing feelings, right? Because that's where we're our most vulnerable.
And I love, Adele, when you say, turn on your inner lights. I love that one.
Yeah. Well,
the lights are shining, then it's like, you put out an energy that people want to be near, you know?
I was working with somebody, and she had somebody she talked to, and he would send her, I don't know how she met this man. I think he worked in a car dealership. It was a very unique connection. And he would send her happy quotes every morning, or powerful, or how to feel. And this man changed her life because he did that every day. Every day. And he must have had a whole group of people he did this every day. But he spread his light. I thought, how lovely is that?
That's what you do.
Yeah. But but think of the Dalai Lama, right? You know, he's always smiling, isn't he? For the most part, he is. He seems to be that he's even amidst all the horrors, he's like, okay, and we're going to pray for peace, and here we are. We're going to be present.
You focus on the blessings, not the bad stuff. You know?
Yeah. Right.
That's an interesting thing that you bring up, because I want to find, and I think I did come across one time, a picture of Christ smiling. But think about it. And I don't know if it's just because they fed us this or whatever, you don't see pictures of him smiling. He's always
well, if I can sound a little snarky here, it probably served the purpose to have us unhappy instead of get yourself in line instead of whatever. I mean, I had the nuns. You say you're recovered, or I think I'm I'm borrowing from the New York Times reporter. I'm a collapsed Catholic. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We've all been there.
We all are.
I know. I love the uniforms, though. I loved wearing a uniform in my saddle shoes.
I was uniform my whole life.
Yeah.
That's why I have so many clothes now. I think we covered the quote on light, right? Because Joanne, you asked.
No, well, Joanne, but listen, bunny, I got some others. Wait a second here.
I'm a quote girl. Give it to us.
Okay, this is from Rumi. Be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder. Help someone's soul heal. Walk out of your house like a shepherd. Don't you love that?
Love that. That's awesome.
Okay. Now, this is the politician who died, the wonderful John Lewis, who lived through so much, had his head back. I mean, every positive thought we pass between us makes room for more light. That is simple and profound.
They're all
right. Okay. Nothing. Now, this is Frida Kahlo, the artist. Nothing is worth more than laughter. It is strength to laugh and to abandon oneself to be light. It is strength to laugh and to abandon oneself to be light. That's true.
Yeah, well, that's true. All three of us have to be big light bulbs here.
Yeah. And I'll give you the last one is Parker Palmer, the educator. In times of deep darkness, we not only need light, we need to be light for one another. Of course, right?
Exactly.
But but the light is it makes us happy. It's why we like music, you know.
That's what the logo for this show is. Beacons of balance. The light out.
Yes, there's the light out
in the dark for others to just see where they're going.
Be the beacon.
Yeah. Be the beacon.
So you do have a practice to calm. I mean, we talked about this, right? To calm and regulate the nervous system.
Well, we were talking a little bit about that. We talked about that earlier, but I mean, if we want to make it more practice instead of a little helpful hints, then again, it is the deep breathing. It is the both feet on the ground. If you can be on the grass, more power to you, right? Play is a wonderful healing modality. Exactly. It is, absolutely. If you can play, hot damn, that's fabulous. You go play, right? If you know somebody with a silly dog and you and the silly dog can go play, that's kind of fun. If little kids, that's kind of fun. Again, it's all the simple stuff of trying A, to get out of your head where the worry is, B, to get in your body, to kind of shake off the heebie-jeebies, right? I mean, that's a practice. I mean, even many shamanic things, you shake off, you shake off, you shake it all out, right? And we have that, the dance, what's the dance? And you shake it all out, whatever
you
that
put
was.
your right foot in.
But yeah.
Honky
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So, I mean, but, you shake it all. So it's, it's getting in your body. Always be gentle with yourself. You say, oh, I didn't do it right, or I didn't do it enough, or I don't fit. Hey, you tried. You got a point for today. Let's go. We'll build on it from there. It's just be gentle and loving with yourself. Be gentle and try not to overthink. And also the doom scrolling and the social media. Do we like to read and get information? Yes, but you get sucked in, and I think the algorithm is designed specifically for that. There are some theories out there that and these are if your mind gets taken over by some of this mush, you don't think for yourself, and it might be better if we all thought for ourselves, or took a moment to think, what do I think now? Maybe I'll think differently next week, but this is what I think now. Yep. So it's trying not to be taken over. Just who are you? What do you like? Years ago, I was at a 12-step meeting with a friend, and I hadn't been to any of these things before, and I was going in a support role, and the guy was talking about, he was doing a kind of a routine. Well, what ball team do you like? And the guy said, I don't know. What's your favorite? He says, the Yankees. Oh, mine too. What's your favorite color? He goes, I don't know. What's yours? She goes, red. Oh, mine too. And because he hadn't taken the time to figure out what he likes or what he wants, right? And you hear this a lot from women who've been married for a lot of years and dedicated to family. They're so used to reading their loved ones' needs, they've forgotten to tune in to go, well, what do I need? What do I want? What do I like now, right? What lights me up, right? Yeah. So I'll ask you, Joanne, what lights you up?
Oh my God, are you kidding? My grandchildren, at 3-year-old, he makes me play with the bubbles. On Sunday, we play with chalk on the driveway. We dance. He lights me up.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, Arlene, what lights you up?
You do.
Well, you goose.
You do. Getting together, friends and laughter. I love it.
Yeah.
And a good martini. I forget everything.
Espresso martini, you made it up.
But I mean, it's true. If we get out of our own way, we play. It's fun. I always tell this story. When I met Fred, my now husband, I told him my middle name was F-U, and his eyes went. And I said, F-U-N, and if you're not F-U-N, I don't want to know you. I told him that from day one. And I said, don't change it, because it has to be, no matter what, because we're all going to go through the ups and downs and the we have our tragedies, we have our baggage, but if you can't have fun, and I think the other important thing is getting out of our own way and doing, as we know, the three of us, doing something for someone else.
What's that?
Doing something for someone else.
Take it off on you.
Always someone worse off than you or whatever. And if you could do something for someone else, just even smile. That's big. Right? That's big. I find it big.
It is big.
So, yeah.
It is big.
Arlene and I always pick each other up. It's like we'll laugh until, oh my God, our sides are splitting.
And how long have you guys known each other?
Oh my God. Arlene, how many lifetimes?
Like, we have many lifetimes.
How many?
Over 30, so 33 years, I think it's been now. Somewhere around 33, something like that. Yeah.
I was on the phone the other day with somebody I went to high school with, and we are just howling with laughter, right? It's lovely when you have those long friendships, right? And you just know each other so well, and you tickle each other, right? It's fun, and that is life-giving, right?
Well, you're the one that tickles me. I always say when I'm around you, I feel like, I told Joey, I feel like a feather goes in me. Tickle my inside. I can't help it.
That's funny. You're such a
you're still waiting for me to get up and chant.
So listen, a question I have for you as we're going to be wrapping up here but what do you do for yourself for balance?
Well, that I discovered a number of years ago, right before the pandemic, I discovered ballroom dance. Now we were talking group classes at the Y, right? And now I'm doing a little more of that. As a kid, I would dance around the living room. As a kid, I asked for ballet and tap lessons, and it didn't happen. Probably because of money, right? But I want to be like the other kids. There was a little studio next to the grocery store, and they were in the little tutus. And oh my God, I wanted that so badly. But well, I decided to take tap and ballet at the Y when I was 21 or 20, in my early 20s, not 20. I was older than that, maybe 25. And I'm in the class with all these 6-year-olds, right? And the teacher's name was Miss Shirley. And Miss Shirley said, "Now, Adele, we're doing the Christmas program, and we like you to be Mrs. Santa Claus." Like, I don't think I was going to be Mrs. Santa Claus tapping my way with the little kids, because the little kids could tap, and I didn't know what the freak I was doing. But dancing makes me so happy. My work makes me so happy. I love working with people. That makes me happy.
Wow.
Dogs make me happy. I was taking a walk with a friend of mine once, and she said, "Must you speak to every dog we see?" I said, "Absolutely. Goes with a walk. It's not going to change. You're going to say hello to every dog." And of course, yummy food always makes me happy too. Chocolate is a particular love. But yeah. But it's the and the older I get, the easier it is, right? Because when I was so, seeing umpteen people a day, right? And it was all geared towards that. And it just putting a little more breathing room and space in my life, because I could, and I'm older and all that stuff, was great. And and it's just, and also as you get older, the benefit of getting older, it's not all such a tragedy or a drama or whatever, because we have more perspective and we can say, okay. Right. And I don't know about you, but I've had moments where I've just kissed it all to God, and then it works out. I'm like, okay, I can't do anything about this, right? Just okay. And I'll just ride the wave, because that's riding the wave says, okay, hello, I'm allowing, I'm open, whatever's, I want to be whatever my best self is that day, right? I'll do that. And whoever said laughter is the best medicine, they had a point.
It is true. But I think part of that, where you kiss it to God, it's almost what I came to realization is because we all have our control issues, and we really have no control. And when we finally release that, and that's part of prayer too, if we really let it go, we're just releasing and saying, you know best, to our highest good, to our highest self, whatever you want to call it. Take it over, do it, and lead us to whatever.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that.
I'm from Texas, and so driving on ice is, not my favorite thing to do. So living up here, on the radio one day was Jose Feliciano singing "Baby Light My Fire." So now anytime I drive on ice, I imagine Jose Feliciano is in the passenger seat. And I'm like, okay, Jose, how are we doing here? Are we lighting the fire? Here we go. And I crack myself up, and then I'm not nervous driving on the ice. As my family says, I am the funniest person I know. Yeah.
Joanne, is this sheer riot?
Oh my God, I love you.
You have to be our resident person on this, Adele. I'm just telling you, you're coming back, whether you want
that fairy energy.
Yeah. So if you could end with a blessing and a meditation.
Oh, I would love to.
With that, because you're good at that.
Yeah.
Joanne, do you have anything else that you wanted to add or ask?
Oh, no,
I'm
I think
so delighted. Hey, I'm in a great space, just being in your energy. I thank you.
Thank you. Well, this is lovely. Okay, let's we're going to shift gears. We're going to raise our frequency just by opening ourselves up, taking some deep breaths. And we're going to do this because the world is going through massive changes. And as I said, we all raised our soul hand to be here now. And everything we do that adds to the light, be it laughter, caring, compassion, kindness, intelligence, the slow assist, the long arm of help, whatever it might be, it all adds to light. And then there's an accumulation of light, and that accumulation of light tips the balance. And that's why we're here, to tip the balance. So as you breathe in, you quiet your mind. As you breathe out, you relax your body. As you breathe in, you quiet your mind. And as you breathe out, you relax your body. Light and love and healing is being showered on each of you who is in connection with the sound of my voice. We ask our angels and our spirits and our guides and our allies and those ever cheerful, light-filled ETs to help us, to hold us, and to lift us up, to remind us of the magnificent we all carry with the power of our hearts and with the light we engender. And I'm going to end this with a chant because I'm being urged to. From the heavens and the dimensions, highlight frequency, please know that each and every one is you are being guided and protected, and you are loved. Please do not hesitate to connect with whatever face or name you give the divine. You are guided, loved, and protected, and we're all here in this soup together to help each other and to tip the balance in favor of the light and well-being for all. And so it is.
Oh, it is.
Oh, that was beautiful.
God.
Thank you.
Adele, thank you. You just switched positions somehow. I don't know how that happened. It's on my end here. Oh, my Lord. Thank you.
That was wonderful.
So much.
Thank you.
Joanne, thank you.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you, Arlene, again. I love it.
Thank you, all of you that are tuned in. If it's the first time, I spread this out. Please subscribe below. Leave comments. It's important to us to grow. We're going to have Adele's information below, and it's Adele Ryan McDowell at gmail.com, correct? You can find information about her consultations, her books, all that wonderful good stuff. Remember, each of you, this is all about you. We are all one. Remember to be the beautiful beacons of light that you are. Send that light out there. Shine it out. We all need it. This world needs it. We're going to lift it up. I have complete faith. Here we go.
Those lights shining.
Love you guys.
Love you.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much. It was great fun.
Thank you.